This is one that's a pet peeve. I grew up in the sanctified church. I saw a lot of people do this. They spiritualize away conflict. People don't want to talk to you. Oh, that's the devil. No, you're just irritated. You can't pay your bills. The devil's after my money. No, you didn't budget. You didn't budget. It's called a budget. It should be sacred. You cannot spiritualize everything. The pressure to be, you cannot. But one of the most destructive myths alive in Christian communities today is the belief that smoothing over disagreements or sweeping them under the rug is a part of what it means to follow Jesus. Ooh. This season of my life, I've learned to embrace the hard conversations.
Ooh, come on, sir.
I called one of the daughters this week, and she was not expecting this. I said, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, how you doing? I did good, Amy. I said, how your family doing? I said, you need to get it together. You need to get it together quickly. She said, yes, sir. I'll talk to you later. Click. We ain't got to speak these things. It's blatantly obvious that there's some dysfunction going on here. If we all just act like, praise the Lord, thinking everything's okay, you're going to remain dysfunctional. So we can't sweep it under the rug. We can't act like everything's okay. And it is not the devil. It is you not having a lack of responsibility. Let me tell you this. I've learned not to prophesy to irresponsible people. Ooh. You know why? Somebody say why? Why? Because prophecy requires your responsibility. How are you going to manage a prophetic word when you can't manage $100? How are you going to handle a prophecy that you call to the nations and you can't even be faithful to your local community?
Sir.
He ain't sending you to no nations. You can't even come to church. I'm not going to waste my prophecy on you. You got to learn to handle responsibility. One thing I've learned to do with my guys, if you don't handle assignments well, if you don't go to work, you always calling in, if you can't do your assignments, I'm not going to give you no prophetic responsibility because you can't handle the trivial things. God. We got to grow up. Somebody says it's time to grow up.
It's time to grow up.
It's not the devil. 7. We got to go to 7.
Preaching.
Number 7 is doing for God instead of being with God. Doing for God instead of being with God. I touched on that a little bit. We feel that work for God is nourishing, right? I feel like I'm in purpose when I'm doing this. I feel like I'm in my spot. I am in my place when I am preaching the gospel, when I am shepherding the flock. I am, without question, I am a pastor. I am a pastor's pastor. I'm okay. I may not be a strong, I'm an apostolic pastor, but I am a pastor first. I feel like I am in my place when I'm doing this. But if this is all that I do, and this is my only spiritual discipline, I will fall straight on my face. Why? Because if I'm only doing for God, and I'm not with God, the rest of the week, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Work for God that is not nourished by a deep interior life with God will eventually be contaminated by other things such as ego, power, needing approval, and buying into the wrong ideas of success and the mistaken beliefs that we can't fail. This is why America has seen so many scandals with preachers. This is why we see preachers cheating on their spouses. We see Catholic Church touching little kids. Because they started believing their own hype. They started working for God. Like I said, they were working for God, but God's like, I'm not working with you. Glory House International. Whether we grow to thousands or whether we stay where we are, we have to ensure that we don't start to buy into our own hype.
That's good. Amen.
When people tell me, you're such a great preacher, I still be like, oh, for real? Praise the Lord. You know why? Somebody say why?
Why?
Because I know the moment I buy into my own hype and my own applause, I'll get a big head. I already think I'm fine. Don't tell me I'm fine. Any good preachers.
Come on, Pastor. You talk about it.
So what have I learned to do? I say, thank you, and God bless you. Now leave it right there. Social media is full of people with egos. Preachers, prophets, apostles, teachers, evangelists, worship leaders, ushers. Everybody want to have a YouTube page. I have an usher YouTube page. I'm going to show you how to be the best usher you can be. Please subscribe to my page.
Sure.
Go to my Instagram page and double tap.
He is on fire.
Because
He is on
we working
fire.
for God and we're not working with Him.
Kill it.
We've taken the attention off of God and we put on what I can do, who I am.
And me.
That's a problem. You know why? Because that is a sign of a lot of, not just immaturity, but I sniff rejection out like a hound dog. I see rejection when people are always hungry for validation, or hungry for praise, and hungry to be notarized. This is why everybody want to be a prophet. This is why everybody want to be Dr. So-and-so. Because you feel like if you got a title, people will respect you. If they didn't respect you before the title, a title ain't going to make them respect you.
Right. Right.
That's why I be like, okay, you can call me Melvin. I am Melvin, but I am taking the city. I will be Melvin to you and still take over.
Come on. Come on.
Somebody say amen.
Amen. That's good.
Somebody said put a handle on it. You will after I'm done with this doctorate degree. Number 8, covering over brokenness, weakness, and failure. We cover it. The pressure to present an image of ourselves as strong and spiritually put together will mess us up. Because if everybody thinks you're okay, you will never get ministry.
That's good.
As your pastor, I have a pastor. When I'm with my pastor, guess what he does to me? He looks right into my soul. And he said, you ain't fooling me, Cross. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, dang, it's not like him come around you. He does not let me escape. He doesn't. I don't have the leisure to cover up my foolishness. Don't cover your foolishness up. You keep sweeping it under the rug, eventually you're going to have this big lump under the rug and you can't go around it. Don't expose it to everybody, but you better expose it to somebody.
Amen.
I got somebody I call. My wife said, I don't need to know all that. That's why you got brothers and friends. I get on the phone, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm jacked up. Bro, you better get it together. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's get healed.
All right.
Ain't nobody got time for phony.
Right.
Phony will keep you in bondage. I want you to put that one on Facebook. Phony will keep you in bondage. If everybody think you're deep and spiritual,
Yes.
I've been preaching too long. I want to tell you this story. There was this wonderful one, as a kid, you know, the saints used to wear all white, right? And there's this one woman, she always had words. She would always plead the blood. This was years ago. Plead the blood. Giving people prophetic words. And everybody thought she was good. And while she doing all this stuff, this woman had, she going on with the Lord now, so I ain't telling nobody business. She was sniffing cocaine. The blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. The Lord says this. And she going home.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
But how many of us have worked for God and didn't let Him work in us?
That's a good work, sir.
And I was like, and I didn't know. I said, God bless you, woman. I was young. My sister, my middle sister, would always get us in trouble because she just, whatever she thought, she would say something. So I remember this lady was prophesying. She said, Sister so-and-so, I saw a little baggie in your purse. First of all, you shouldn't go to that lady's purse. But you can't cover up your brokenness and act like you all good. And if we had more people like this in church, the church would be in good condition. If we would stop being so fake and so phony. Number 9. This is probably my wife's favorite. Living without limits. Boundaries. Somebody say boundaries.
Oh, boundaries. Oh, glory.
Boundaries. My wife had to tell me, you do not have good boundaries. You don't have good boundaries. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have good boundaries? I do have good boundaries. I ain't have good boundaries because I would let people run me ragged. I would always say yes. They come into my personal space and I think it's okay. Knowing good and well, I'm tired and I'm still letting you talk to me for 2 hours. I'm just sitting there like this. Am I talking too much? No, you're not talking too much. In my head, I'm thinking like, yes, please shut up. And it's wearing on my emotional capacity.
Right. Yeah. Wearing you out.
She's the boundary queen. We are not God, and we cannot save and serve everyone in need. You need boundaries. Don't call me at 2 a.m. in the morning for a word. Because I'm not going to give it to you.
Who does that?
You don't inbox me about the Sunday school lesson. We don't got Sunday school. You have to have boundaries. Boundaries are very practical. You don't have boundaries, that's teaching people how to treat you. Allowing your safe space. You cannot come into my safe space. No, you cannot come to my house. No, no, no. No is a complete sentence.
It is. by yourself.
Period.
Isolation. No.
Boundaries. How many of us could do better with having healthy boundaries?
Yes.
As a pastor, it's hard for me sometimes. Because I get a call, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do. But then sometimes I realize I'm depleted and I'm serving from a depleted place. So sometimes no is the best thing for you. Because you don't want to get subpar ministry. You don't want to get nothing secondhand. Because then you're going to be disappointed. Amen?
Amen.
Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I want you to write that 3 times in your notes. And put it on your refrigerator. You need healthy boundaries.
Yes. Snap up 3 people and boundaries.
The scripture tells us to lay ourselves down, right? To lay our lives down, but you first have to have a self to lay down. If you don't have boundaries, you ain't gonna have nothing to lay down. This is the last one. And I want to get on top of the mountain and scream this out. This is one side of emotional, unhealthy spirituality. It's judging other people's spiritual journey. What you say? I'm not being deep. No, you're not being deep. You're sick. Religious and judgmental.
Wow.
You know who you're operating for when you do that? You're operating for the devil because he is the accuser of brethren.
Wow.
You are partnering with hell when you're judging somebody else's spiritual journey.
Wow.
Just because you don't do it like me don't mean you ain't doing it right.
Right.
One thing as your pastor, I'm so confident in who God has made me. I don't want you nor expect you to do it like me.
Right.
Get up and do it like you, and you do it to the best of the ability that God has given you. If you're going to preach, you better preach how God gave it to you. Because when you start judging people based on how they are growing, what you are doing is saying that God is not growing them the way he desires to grow them. So by failing to let others be themselves before God and move at their own pace, we inevitably project onto them our own discomfort with their choice to live life differently than we do. You got to allow them to grow the way God has called them to grow. Early on in our GHI journey, we had to grow fast because we didn't have a lot. We had to grow in prayer, we had to grow in prophecy, we had to grow in all this stuff because we didn't have a lot. So we didn't have too many options. But now that we are growing, I don't expect you to grab a mic and prophesy when you've been saved for 2 days. I want to give you time to grow. You still trying to stop cussing. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
You stop cussing for a whole week. God bless you. You are growing in the things of God.
Yes. Yes. Teach.
One thing that we will not do is we will not judge you because you don't look like us, you don't sound like us, you don't pray like us, you don't worship like us, you don't dance like us. Those are all things that are minor. The one thing that we want you to do is to continue to grow in God. As long as you're growing, good job. We will not be judgmental.